Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home.
That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby. You know, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You're the blackest one in this room,
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border. And then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on American soil. So he became the anchor baby. You don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, I'm the American Anchor Baby, and this is my show. How you doing, everybody? Tuning in, rolling in from, I believe, a premiere over on the Bond Rebuilding the Man channel. I do appreciate it. Those sticking around, kicking it up with the Bond Network, now with the Anchor Baby. I'm here, and I appreciate you guys being here. On this fine Wednesday, I'm in the chair. The Anchor Baby's in the chair. And we love the chair. We love the lab. We love the chair. And, no complaints here. Got a bit of a show for you. Got a bit of a show for you. This is big for the conspiracy theorists today. Conspiracy theorists on top. Imagine that. The one conspiracy theorist, CIA 0 or something. The conspiracy theorists will know better than I. Hit the like or Nit's mom gets deported. Thank you, Chaos Confessional. Appreciate it, Cody, and everybody joining us. Francisco, Kilo Alpha Tango, how you doing? Mark the man in the chat, Galahad, Chris Hake, everybody. Appreciate it. American Anchor Baby in the chair. You know what that means. You got to call 888-775-3773. The lines are open. What's up, Flat Earth Victory? 888-775-3773 if you want to talk to the Anchor Baby today and get it off your chest. What's on your mind? But anyways, yeah, if you want to call, I'll get to you. But I got some things to get into. I got a couple of things to go through here. You think this is part of the Zelensky collection? A dark Zelensky? It's too baggy. It's too like hip-hop. It's too hip-hop. It's way too hip-hop for Zelensky. This is a different collection. We're talking about his clothing. And remember when I used to look like Zelensky? What happened? Or do I still look like him? I know I need more beard. I think I need more beard. Maybe too, the hair, that's what it is too, Maybe I'm looking a little too fascista. With this one. Mussolini, I don't know, something like that. But look, when I had more hair over here and more of a beard, the resemblance is striking, at least some say. Oh, hold on here. Am I live? Yeah, I think I'm live. All is well. You used to be sexy, Nit. I don't know what happened, man. I don't know. I used to be a lot of things, okay? People used to have a twinkle in their eye when speaking with me. And that's just not there anymore. No, I'm messing around. Hey, all of you have a twinkle, right? What happened, bro? Hey, Bill. If only it were a crop top, then it would work as a Zelensky. Ooh, delighted to be here. Shots fired. But anyways, appreciate everybody being here. Conspiracy theorists on top? Is this true? Let me get into it. But am I missing anything else? Let's see here. Oh, yeah. Everybody who joined us last night, thank you so much. Lots of super chats. People, at least some, seem to love the plantation streams. And we're putting some good work in those plantation streams, okay? We're developing our crew. We almost found a Hake, but we'll keep searching for a Hake character, a Joel character, and even an Anchor Baby character. Jesse's healthy. Last we left it off, the peeps are doing great. They're sometimes unhappy, but we're working there. We're trying to make a plantation. Jesse's plantation is going to be, it's supposed to be a nice place to be, right? Yes, we're making you work. We're teaching you by force how to work on the plantation, but it's supposed to be nicer, okay? So we're going to work on that. We built the first slave ship, and that's where we left it off at. Appreciate everybody who was there. We will get back to more plantation streaming for those who enjoy it. We're coming for you, Joe. But right now, Surge Wisdom, thank you so much for the super chat, says Nick the Quick. And I do appreciate it. Speedy, some people call me Speedy. Hey, Speedy. Speedy Gonzalez. That's a fine question, Flat Earth Victory, truly. That is a fine question. How else you gonna ship slaves? I mean, who built them? Who built the ships? Apparently, Jesse Lee Peterson in the virtual world did. Who'd have thunk it? We're in the studio, and conspiracy theorists are up. Vindicated. Wait, what's vindicated mean, Bill, again? Means like you were proven correct? Okay. What's the other one when you're like... Never mind. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm barely monolingual. So we're dealing with that. Thank you, Lord Spike Protein. Tabitha, welcome. Reese's vids. I clearly wasn't watching last night. Anyways. Conspiracy theorists vindicated. What's going on here? Conspiracy theorists on top. Basically, there's this report that's going around. It's making some noise, okay? I mean, even the Associated Press themselves admit it's going to stir up some controversy, and there's a couple of firsts, particular firsts, that I'm sure is going to stir maybe some controversy, open up old wounds, remind people of their calcified pineal glands. What am I talking about? Fluoride. Fluoride in the water. They're putting fluoride in the water. They're making No, that's another chemical, right? Because that was a conspiracy theory by Alex Jones. They're putting chemicals in the water. I used to do a better Alex Jones, I think. We got black helicopters and chemicals in the water. They're making the frogs gay, man. Come on. Look, that was a conspiracy theory. I know it was heavily parodied, and Alex Jones got lampooned in a sense. I remember thinking some of the same things, and this was, of course, a long time ago. When the little anchor baby wasn't so based. Anyways, I'm just playing around. When you uncovered some of those details and listened to Alex Jones, yeah, maybe some of the commentary was bombastic and not reporting the news enough for some. But if you know Alex Jones at all, he puts a lot of gusto and his own kind of feelings, to be fair, on some of the reporting that he does. And that was just a fact, right? That came down from Harvard or one of these universities, remember? That was he was just reporting what one of these universities put out, a study on a chemical in the water that actually did affect frogs. But this is a bit of an older one, no? Fluoride? Are you new here? Yeah. That's that fluoride stare, huh? That's some of that fluoride stare. What are you looking at me with a fluoride? That's textbook calcified pineal gland. Look, I'm just saying the buzzwords, okay? I know the memes. I guess they're not memes to everybody. And I don't know if I have a fluoride stare or if the fluoride I've been ingesting has calcified my pineal gland, therefore disconnecting me from the tree of life and God himself. I'm going to leave that as an I don't know. I'm going to leave that one up to God, okay? God decalcify my pineal gland. The report that's coming around, though, is about fluoridated water. AP, the U.S. government report, says fluoride at twice the recommended limit is linked to lower IQ in kids. Bum, bum, bum. Were they right? They were right. It's all real. It's all real. 5G. No, let's calm down. I'm just playing around. But here's a little bit from the AP. A U.S. government report expected to stir debate, told you, concluded that fluoride in drinking water at twice the recommended limit is linked with lower IQ in children. Dun, dun, dun. See, here's the thing. To add, we're playing around, but there's some serious things in that the controversy. There's already controversy with that statement there, because the caveat kind of put forth is that, well, it's only if you're drinking fluoride in large amounts, okay? And if you look into the discourse, because this is a argument that was had more heavily at the beginning in the 50s or 60s, I believe, when fluoride began to be added to the water supply. There was some noise made back then by concerned citizens. And what I'm trying to say here is that this particular part of the discourse surrounding the potential dangers of fluoride and only in like large amounts is not a new thing. This has been kind of this criticism has been around. Okay, it's not exactly a new piece of info, and as far as I can tell, not a particularly controversial point either. I mean, too much of anything can harm you, and I think most reasonable people can believe that something that is good in our water supply or otherwise, in our food or something else, can be harmful in large amounts, but it's controlled and it's all good with me. You conspiracy theorists, you think it's too much fluoride? Well, I Googled it. New York City's fluoride is under the dangerous amounts. And that's pretty much where I am, if you ask me. But here's what's interesting about this report. The report, based on an analysis of previously published research, and if I may interject, the previously published research has been at the center of this debate for decades, and a lot of these research papers came out of Iran and China, and so for a long time, the charges against the conspiracy theorists was, well, we're really going to start taking conclusions from Iran and China. Look they got like 11 milliliters per they got 11 milliliters per liter of milligrams per liter of fluoride. That's way above the 1.5 that's deemed safe. And so what's different here is that this marks the first time a federal agency has determined that there is a link between higher levels of fluoride exposure and lower IQ in kids. While the report was not designed to evaluate the health effects of fluoride in drinking water alone, it is a striking acknowledgement of a potential neurological risk from high levels of fluoride. It's more of a fun segment for me. In that, they tried to say that anyone trying to make that link is kind of a whack job conspiracy theorist. And to this, common response is, well, the levels, they're kept low, which is fine. And I think most likely true, if you ask me. If you ask me, it's probably most likely true. It's probably not that big of a deal. But the mentality, this is the mentality of the state and the medical experts and all the experts, is they're better than you. And you're a wacko. And what do you mean you don't want fluoride? What do you mean you want to control, have some level of control over your health? Which, by the way, is not even true. You can't even control what goes in your body. You can live off grid and all this stuff. Turns out there's microplastics everywhere. In nature, over at the creek that you're surviving in. So anyways, levels are kept low. That's how I feel about it. It's just kind of a funny thing that now it's like federal agencies in America are like, okay, guys, okay, fine. There's a link between them, and it's safe, but there's a link, and okay. Kind of a funny thing. Fluoride strengthens teeth and reduces cavities by replacing minerals lost during normal wear and tear. The addition of low levels of fluoride to drinking water has long been considered one of the greatest public health achievements of the last century. Yeah, would we have like nasty teeth or something if it wasn't for that? What else about this was interesting? Fluoride, not that deep of a conspiracy, but again, to actually the segue into actual, more important conspiracies. Guess I'm just using that buzzword right now. 888-775-3773, but I wanted to wrap this up. What else was I thinking about fluoride here? Look at me. Look at me with my calcified pineal gland. I can't even think. I got the fluoride stare at my computer, trying to remember. What a mess. Maybe I got to chill on the fluoride. The report did not try to quantify exactly how many IQ points might be lost at different levels of fluoride exposure, but some of the studies reviewed in the report suggested IQ was 2 to 5 points lower in children who'd had higher exposures. Now, from what I can gather, it's about 15 points that are your deviations in IQ, and which I gather are like the significant markers of when IQ starts making a difference. So when you're 15 points away from someone, you can tell you're at a different deviation of IQ. Whatever. 2 to 5 points. Hey. Anyway, I mean, what else about this? I feel like I had a better point. I mean, there's really no point in this one, so don't get excited. Don't start leaning into your conspiracy mind. Okay, I'm being a little jokey, lighthearted. We love the conspiracy theorists, but don't go around now saying that the Earth is flat. Okay, calm down. No offense, flat Earthers. Calcify me harder. What else? What else? Fluoride. Anyways, as long as levels are kept low, before we start calling this wacko land, tell me this. Tell me if you agree with this. Is America on a decline? Are people running things pretty badly? Are there recalls of products seemingly every other day of food and products? Have you guys looked into that? We might have to do a segment on that. Can I add my own fluoride? Like, if it's that good? Like, I'm starting to not trust these people. You know what I mean? Because you don't even have to go into wacko land. They're telling us too much of it is bad. And then assuring us there's not a whole bunch of it in your water. We swear. We checked like 5 years ago. Now, I'm making stuff up now, but... What else am I into here? Look, conspiracies against the public. If you allow me to segue into this, some of you may have heard of this. If I may segue, they said that they weren't shadow banning conservatives, you conservative wacko. You think that they're changing articles so that you could forget what was reported on? You whack job. You think they're stifling voices on different... You think the social media companies are getting instruction from the government in some way to suppress and censor different parts of their social medias? Using different tools to not even outrightly ban, but to make them disappear. Make them kind of go away. You conspiracy theorists, that's not happening. And now you want to bring in the election. What's that got to do with social media? Says blind people who can't see right beyond their own, what is there an expression for that? Their own nose or something? I'm talking about Mark Zuckerberg a little bit. Based as Mark Zuckerberg, if I may borrow a line here. Mark Zuckerberg and social media. The Reddit bros are turning on Mark Zuckerberg, owner of Meta, that company that owns Facebook and Instagram. Well, he's not so popular on Reddit anymore. And I'm pretty sure he was. You know, these Reddit guys, they're like tech guys, they're internet guys, they're like trolls sometimes. They're liberals, big time liberals, but over there on Reddit. And they're turning on Mark Zuckerberg the way they turned on Elon Musk, another one of their what shall I say? Is it unfair to say nerdy kings? They're nerd alphas. Look, they don't like Elon now because he's like racist or letting a bunch of anti-Semites and stuff on X. Imagine that. Let people speak freely, and they start saying things that you don't like. Now you're gonna go blame Elon Musk. Like his whole motivation isn't just to let people speak freely, as much as he can. As much as he can. He could push that as far as he can until he hits a wall, Until he hits a wall. So he's trying his best. But look, Reddit is turning on Mark Zuckerberg. I guess the word I was looking for is maybe darling. Nerd darling. Look, Reddit. Redditors turning on Mark Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg will go full Elon crazy. With the things he's starting to say and release, he is on the path to going full MAGA brain rot. He said he doesn't want to help anyone, but is clearly helping Trump. Eventually, it will come out with sexual allegations. Okay, I don't know where you're going with that. And he will be welcomed with open arms. He's always been a creep, says Karma Boy 20. For context, I'm specifically talking about his letter that said the government told him to censor the laptop story. They didn't ask him anything and denied this many times under oath. Also, he claims the laptop story was true. It has been debunked completely many times. Yeah. Where's your source, bro? Karma Boy. Where's your source, bro? He is 100% captured by Russia and spreading old misinformation. Reddit, it's not too happy. The liberals online aren't too happy with Zuckerberg. Skyjack, thank you so much for the super chat. Says, take us back to the plantation, Nit. People want to see the plantation, man. What about it? Weekend plantation stream, maybe tomorrow. Friday, we got a nice show. We'll talk about it. Zuckerberg, they're not happy with him. He's a liberal. I mean, the liberals are not happy with him. And they're saying he's going full MAGA brain rot. And for what? It comes down to this letter that he released, okay? Mark Zuckerberg's election season gift to Republicans, writes CNN. What a gift he's giving them. And he basically, in this letter, confirms what we all knew. Confirms what the Hunter laptop story revealed to us. Confirmed what people have been saying about government involvement with the social media companies. Confirmed the desire to stifle and control the free flow of information. Mark Zuckerberg is handing Republicans political victories ahead of the 2024 presidential election, acquiescing to years of GOP grievances over his company's policies. It's from CNN. In recent days, the Meta chief executive has made newsworthy public statements implicitly supporting right-wing censorship narratives. They're just narratives, huh? These are just narratives. Even though the owner of Meta is telling you, let me confirm the reporting by others. Yeah, we did talk to the government multiple times, and yeah, we did suppress the laptop story and others, and other things that we're not happy with. COVID COVID suppression. So it's just censorship narrative, says CNN, and they offered praise for Donald Trump as a badass, even as he claimed he wanted to appear neutral and nonpartisan. They're being real. They're like no space at all, just really scrutinizing him for any little support for Trump, even though he's like, I'm going to be neutral, expressing some days or weeks ago his desire to be neutral. He did, however, mention that Trump looked badass with his fist in the air, and that's just an honest person. You could be a liberal and still see someone who just survived an assassination attempt, and despite that stands up, showing, exposing his head and putting a fist up in defiance. You don't have to be a Trump supporter to say that. You just have to be an honest person. You just kind of have to use your eyes, kind of thing. But they're not giving him any leeway on that. On Monday, Zuckerberg sent a letter to the powerful House Judiciary Committee. Isn't that funny? CNN calling the House Judiciary Committee powerful. I don't know if I've ever seen the CNN describe the House Judiciary Committee, which is Republican-led, in such a way. Suddenly they're so powerful, and they're going to keep things lawful. Right on, right? It feels a little bit like covering, self-covering a little bit. They're so powerful, the House Judiciary Committee is going to get it right. Don't worry. Oh, don't worry. They're going to make all this unlawful disinformation stuff. Don't worry, they'll get it under control. Stating that the Biden administration had pressured Meta to censor content during the pandemic. Pretty interesting stuff. The content of the letter and the reaction to it. Pretty interesting. In the letter, Zuckerberg says, in 2021, senior officials from the Biden administration, including the White House, repeatedly pressured our team for months to censor certain COVID-19 content, including humor and satire, and expressed a lot of frustration with our teams when we didn't agree. Zuckerberg admits that the decision was ultimately theirs, which is an interesting part of this story. It's an interesting part of the story in that how much blame can you put on a government? There's always, the government is a mirror to the people, and the people are usually worse than the government. The employees at Facebook, this is a point that I'm stealing here from one of our hosts here on the Bond Network. You might hear this point made maybe next Monday. and the employees seem to be much worse. They want to censor worse than even Zuckerberg himself. They'll make a huge stink and try and coerce their own company to do things that maybe the CEOs wouldn't have done, even if despite them being, leaning and sympathetic to such views. But this is interesting, he's saying there have been such, look, this is interesting because there's been some pretty interesting markers in politics, public discourse, and news, pointing out what has been in the background as just conspiracy, as just conjecture. There's been some pretty interesting markers, glaring even. That's what makes this one so interesting, is that these markers are now pretty glaring indictments of our status quo, of our system. That Joe Biden could be replaced like it's nothing. And we know that we were able to see his mental state decline to such a degree that it's clear that there has to be some shadow government making the decisions. Joe Biden is not running the country, bringing into question that very question, who's in charge of the country. Remember, that's just wacko. That was wacko stuff before. Any Silicon Valley liberal should be now kind of question, because these are like fact-based people. They love the research. I noticed that some of these Silicon Valley liberals still, especially if they're men, the ladies, it's just off the deep end. It's just don't even try. But the men, Silicon Valley liberals seem to still, when the facts don't gel, when the stats and the facts don't gel, some questions start popping up. And it should be that kind of the Overton window on Joe Biden and the shadow government. Joe Biden himself has moved that window. Come on. That the free flow of information is a major issue for the governments of the world. They really care about what you're allowed to say and who's controlling that. And you didn't think so, but it's true. Oh, it's just conspiracy. They literally have done that. Laptop story and beyond. COVID and beyond. All the criticisms of the conspiracy theorists, wackos who want election integrity. What are you talking about? We already have election integrity. Well, when these aren't even it's like election integrity. Well, now we're talking about the free flow of information and what you see in the news, and well, now it's not so wacky. And it's like that's the messed up part of this whole thing. When these aren't even off the deep end questions, trying to lampoon reasonable people and tie them up with flat earthers. No offense, flat earthers, or others. Okay. Trying to lampoon some pretty reasonable questions like, well, if you suppress news, aren't you suppressing what people see, especially during an election? I say this, I've heard this before, and I say it a lot. First election where phones were ubiquitous was 2016, where the vast majority of people had a phone, a screen in their pockets where they get, and what does that mean, folks? That means you're getting the majority of your, like, you guys know how you use your phones? Come on. You get a lot of information and your news, and you get a lot of your stuff from your phone. Now, during an election, and someone can control these little screens in our pockets, well, that's a good question. And that these social media companies were in cahoots with the government, all of these things, glaring indictments of all that, glaring markers that all this is happening, is what makes it so interesting. But anyways, what's more on this? The Republican-led House Judiciary Committee also welcomed Zuckerberg's letter, posting a copy on Monday. The letter was sent amid, they said, this is what they said, the committee on X. Mark Zuckerberg just admitted three things. Biden-Harris admin pressured Facebook to censor Americans, that Facebook then censored those Americans, and Facebook throttled the Hunter Biden laptop story. Big win for free speech, the committee wrote. Interesting stuff. What do y'all think? Zuckerberg, is he real or not? Is he an alien? Is he a real person or no? They say that Zuckerberg's not real, that he's a lizard. He's an alien lizard person. He's an alien trying to act like a human. And I think I can totally believe someone being a Silicon Valley liberal. But then, you see in all this, isn't he Jewish? You see in all this, they're turning on the Jews. They're these rabid POCs. They're nuts now. And you're not only that, I'm not only that, but I'm trying to draw a line between all the way from a Silicon Valley liberal Jew all the way to possibly being MAGA pilled and waking up. Like, you could draw a line, and what's the point with that? That he is a real person, maybe. He could be a real person. And what would be the other option is, okay, he's a plant. He's just lying. And in fact, that's what people are saying on Twitter. Look, on X.com, you look at some of these replies, and I remember thinking something like this. Oh, well, Zuckerberg, this is just him trying to cover his arse. And maybe that's true. But when I saw so many people say it, a part of me is like, that's what the crowd is saying. That's what the crowd is saying, that he's just covering his arse. And that is maybe even true. But I'm also leaving space that a Silicon Valley liberal is seeing the mess. The facts aren't gelling. He's seeing Elon Musk trailblazed that. And he's letting truth prevail as much as his little heart can handle. I some of the criticisms are fair. If this is true, Zuckerberg, then change Facebook. Do it. Show us that you're not being pressured by the government. Give them the finger, the government, and tell them, hey, no, you can't have the data. Give us the data. But okay, that's just my opinion. I think he might be getting MAGA pilled. It's possible. He might be more real than you think, okay? These employees are probably crazy liberal. The actual Facebook employees. And he might be a real dude. I mean, check this out. And then I'm going to get to calls, 888-775-3773. I do appreciate the calls. About to get to you. A little bit on Zuckerberg. We're going back 6 years here on a little piece of a little story that the Hake Report kind of informed me on not too long ago. And it's quite fascinating. Look, it's about Zuckerberg and the 𝒔𝒐𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔. Should I even say the word? Because look, you look at this YouTube video by CBS News. They're talking about the Holocaust, whatever. And YouTube puts a little context thing telling them, hey, whatever you're hearing in this video, just so you know, the Holocaust was the genocide of European Jews. Okay, we're educating you because you just don't know. And this is really making sure that you know about this one and that you're not getting misinformed about it. When CBS News was not doing any misinformation, they're just reporting on this interesting little story back in 6 years ago now, where Zuckerberg said Holocaust deniers won't be banned from Facebook. Let's watch a little bit of this news report from 6 years ago and why it's so interesting on the Holocaust and what Zuckerberg said about not banning Holocaust deniers on his platform. Okay, wait, hold on. What am I doing wrong here? We're unmuted. We are unmuted. This is going. We're playing the video. We're getting no sound. I was just getting sound. What's going on here? Don't tell me it's what happened with the Hake Report earlier. No, please. Test. Let's see here. Oh, man, I was just getting sound. This is kind of show breaking.
To protect free.
Oh, we got sound. I was about to say this is kind of a show breaking. It's kind of a show busting, but it's okay. We got the video. Let's watch. CBSN 6 years ago.
Speech after Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg is having to explain his way out of controversy yet again. Zuckerberg says he's trying to protect free speech after saying he wouldn't remove content about Holocaust denial. John Blackstone has this story.
Mark Zuckerberg's latest controversy began with a podcast interview for the tech website Recode. Holocaust deniers, he said, would not be blocked from Facebook.
I'm Jewish, and there's a set of people who deny that the Holocaust happened.
Yes,
right? I find that deeply offensive. But at the end of the day, I don't believe that our platform should take that down, because I think that there are things that different people get wrong. I don't think that they're intentionally getting it wrong.
Blowback came quickly.
Holocaust denial at its core, whether it's on Facebook or any social media platform, is one of the most pernicious and sinister forms of hate speech that exists today.
Facebook pages questioning the Holocaust remain on the social network. In a statement, Zuckerberg said, "I absolutely didn't intend to defend the intent of people who deny that."
Welcome to F8. This has been an intense year.
This controversy comes in a year that Zuckerberg has done a lot of apologizing and explaining, from conferences to Congress, promising to do more to stop the spread of false information on Facebook.
We didn't take a broad enough view of our responsibility, and that was a big mistake.
Zuckerberg explained that Facebook may not take down individual posts that deny the Holocaust, but will block those from its widely shared news feed. And German officials reminded Facebook that denying the Holocaust is a crime in Germany, subject to millions in fines. DeMarco?
All right, John Blackstone. John, thank you.
Incredible. It's such an interesting story. It's just an interesting story. Look, Zuckerberg tried his best there, but to protect free speech, it's interesting to note the change in language and how this can we call it a war? This is kind of lame to call it a war. Really, the war is not outside of you. The war is within. Your enemy is within. Even politically, like our enemies are domestic in our own government, but in your own life, that's really where the war is. So it's a little lame to call it a war, maybe. But in this war, some of the fronts, some of the demarcation zones, and otherwise have to do with our language, and our language shows kind of where those lines are sometimes. And he went from wanting to protect free speech to wanting to protect speech in a safe manner. If you read his letter, which I just paraphrased, not in the exact wording, but if you read his letter, he went from wanting to protect free speech with no caveats, no qualifying words, to all these qualifying words, to now I want to protect speech as long as it's safe and all that. Got to qualify free speech, which is a funny thing, and not even call it free speech. Interesting to note these lines drawn in our own language and how we use it. But besides that, just being based on that, look, people who deny, he says that he's Jewish and it deeply offends him, but he doesn't think that, he thinks that there are just things that people get wrong. Isn't that true? And if that's just true on its face, that people just get things wrong sometimes, then ergo you cannot censor speech. You cannot censor speech, or it would be evil to do so. In a public, in a large setting, in a public square setting, if it's true that people just get things wrong sometimes, it would be showing hate and not love to then censor speech, because you are taking all that room out of there, all that grace in that room that you should have for your fellow man. You are taking it, you're ripping it completely off. And making it a legal thing and writing that into law, getting rid of this space there, assuming that anyone's doing that is just hateful, because people just get things wrong. And you got to understand what motivates people's thinking sometimes. Sometimes it has nothing to do with logic. Sometimes it's just patterns and feelings, which have their place, I guess. But look, some people just see the pattern of governments lying. Some people just see this pattern that governments lie, and they point out, for example, maybe some discrepancies in how the Holocaust, for example, is taught, and they'll be nitpicking at some of these discrepancies, and they'll expand it to a full-blown lie. And so what people are fighting about is they're fighting about different things. One side is fighting about how certain tragedies are put on a pedestal, and decrying that itself is anti-Semitic and all that. And so they've gone further and further into actual lies of like stuff like the Holocaust never even happening, which I personally don't think that's, look, whatever discrepancy you can point out, I think Hitler was somewhat angry, and he believed some of these things and did some of these things, folks. Just, you can't deny, you just can't deny some of this reporting in books that were written, look, right after World War II, and these reportings by all these different people. Maybe we can fudge, maybe some numbers were fudged, but look, where was I? The controversy. Oh, Germany getting in there saying it's a crime. Incredible. That's significant because the CEO of Telegram, as you may have heard, just got recently arrested in France for basically a similar thing. And what's so crazy about that story is this is a guy who owns Telegram, a social media messaging app, and it's based out of Russia and Dubai. This guy shows up in France, and France believes they're correct in arresting him. Arresting him for what? For what other users on his platform are doing. So these other users, that's not him, are sending, illegal things to each other, like child pornography or something like that. And because the users on his platform are doing that, he is liable for that. And not only that, for a company that's not even in France, this is so crazy. That's actually off the deep end crazy what's happening there. That's even possible. Imagine Jesse showing up in Russia, and they arrest him for having Bond for being racist or something. That's truly insane. And Germany threatening Zuckerberg 6 years ago like that. It's illegal, big fines. Where do you get off? And then Zuckerberg had to acquiesce to the criticisms and say, yeah, okay, sorry, okay, we'll block that stuff. And what I said was my opinion, and okay, we'll block that stuff and all that. It's incredible. Let me get to calls here. That's what I wanted to say about Zuckerberg and our social media and the free flow of information. It's just fascinating stuff. But let's get to calls here. I got Beef It to Beef It. Let me get to calls here in a moment. Beef It to Beef It with a super chat. Appreciate that. Says, going against the Crucible and Timcast. Big bowl. What are you talking about, Beef It to Beef It? Chris, appreciate that with a thumbs up and a super chat. Rock on. Thank you. But, okay, that's it on that. I want to get into something else here in a moment, but I do have calls. Appreciate you holding. I have you on the air. What's your name and where are you calling from?
It has been a constant stream of gripes and grievances.
Is this a person? Hello?
Afraid to lose the Kamala.
Hello? Is this Obama?
There's the childish nickname.
Is this Obama? What's going on?
Conspiracy theories.
Anyways. Moving on. Not sure what that was. We got Obama. That's Barry. You see? The American people. Baseless conspiracy theorists. Baseless conspiracy theorists. You see? Isn't that from the DNC? Anyways. 888-775-3773. What do I got to say to Obama? Huh? Obama wasn't even responding to me. Obama, call me back. If you want to have a real conversation, Obama, call me back. Otherwise, what do I have to say to you? The Obama staccato. I like that. That's probably that's a good way. I think that's a good way of describing that. Obastaccato. Obamaccato. You see? I can't do a good Obama. I could probably practice. I should practice literally any voice other than Trump. Turns out you can practice voices. Isn't that a funny thing? If you can at least, if your bass voice can get in the ballpark of an impression, you can practice it and you can get pretty darn close. As long as your kind of bass voice can be in the ballpark. So I bet I might be able to do a Barry. See? American people. See, I really only got the staccato down, but look, one of those things. Let me know what voice I should work on. Well, first, I guess I got to figure out where I'm in the ballpark. But usually gruffier voices, gruffier, lower, deeper voices, even if my bass voice isn't that deep. That's who I'm better at. Like cartoonier, higher pitch voices, difficult. Like Pinky, no, that's Nit practicing his JC voice. Okay, maybe I was doing a JC okay, wasn't I? Joel. Let's see here. Narf. Okay. See, no. Now a Brain impression. That'd be cool. I should work on that. That'd be sick. Brain? I always loved his voice. Who was that voice actor? I know the voice actor for Pinky was amazing. But so was the guy for Brain. He's incredible too. He's done a lot. Rob Paulson, that's Pinky. Voice of Brain. That guy has such an interesting voice. Brain. Maurice LaMarche. Yeah, Maurice LaMarche. What an interesting voice. Iconic. See, I think this is one of those. My bass voice can't do Maurice LaMarche now that I'm remembering. There's something about the timbre. There's something about it.
Greetings, my friends. This is the brain of TV's Pinky and the Brain.
Greetings, my friends. This is Brain. No, we'll work on it. We'll work on it. Brain. All right, I see calls coming in, 888-775-3773. I want to get into more conspiracy. You know, they would say that they're not immigration replacement, you little conspiracy theorists. We'll get into that in a moment here. But first, caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Hello, it's JC.
No, it's not.
It's J.
No,
Nick.
it's not.
Nick, this is JC. I want to talk to Joel.
Don't slander.
Don't have any beautiful black skin for me. Where's Joel? Is Joel there?
Oh, come on. I disavow such JC slander.
Oh, you were just practicing my accent on air.
With love. With love.
You say I don't have love, Nick? I hate you. I hate you with love.
You know, I heard something like that coming from that fella, which I'm just gonna wish him well, I guess.
Mark.
But I heard something like that about
hate.
About justifying hate. I think I heard from that fella, which is just worse. You know what's worse than transgenderism, homosexuality, all these things? Someone who justifies literally hating and says that it's good. Now that is some scary stuff. Stay away from that person. And I thought I heard something like that coming from that fella. Who am I speaking with?
I'm a Christian, Nick. I'm a gay black Christian. There's nothing you or Jesus.
That might be slander. That might be slanderous. Who's this?
All right, I gotta reveal myself. It's Zenny.
Oh, what's up, Zenny? How you doing, sir? Got Canada in the house.
I had to practice my JC. How was that?
I think that might have been somewhat slanderous, sir. I think JC said he's a Christian. I don't know about this gay stuff.
What are you talking about? He said that he was gay.
He said that himself?
What? You haven't heard this? You haven't been listening to the show.
I haven't been listening that closely then to JC's calls.
I mean, prayers for JC. JC, I don't hate you.
Right on.
I love you, bro. I love you. I got love for you.
My bad. He may have said that himself.
You say some ridiculous things sometimes. You're way too into your blackness, and you're trying to influence Joel to be gay and black.
Joel.
Joel, you're beautiful black skin.
You know, it's funny to hear him say that sometimes because it's really not unlike. Who am I thinking of? You know, there's so many other callers who agree with this your beautiful black skin stuff.
I have beautiful black skin or like light skin.
Nice.
I'm the same color as Joel, so according to JC, I have beautiful black skin as well. So, but I don't go around saying it like that.
Yeah. Like going around making a big stink about it.
Beautiful white skin, beautiful yellow skin, beautiful red skin. Come on, it's crazy.
How you doing, sir?
We all got beautiful skin out there, you know.
How you doing, Zenny? How you doing, sir? Appreciate you calling me.
Yeah. All right. Well, respect, brother. Have a good show.
Oh, you called to do the impression.
Oh, were you? I thought you were cutting me off. Were you actually?
I was not cutting you off. I was just saying hi to you so that you could continue with what you called about.
Oh, okay. Sorry. No. I'm good, man. Just in Toronto, being Torontoing it up.
You heard that? You heard that caller on Joel Friday? Total Bodman.
Yeah, he had a thick Jamaican accent.
Big time Bodman.
He's like the way he speaks is so interesting.
You done know. Hey, you done know.
You done know. Yeah, I don't really have a thick Toronto accent. I can. No, my JC accent is better than my Toronto accent. Dang. You done know. You walk one. Well, that's my Jamaican accent.
Yeah.
Walk one. You're rascal.
That's funny, man. Yeah, I had a lot of friends talking like that growing up in Canada.
Yeah, man, you got to come back. You got to do some shows from back home.
Oh man, I've been thinking about that too. That'd be so interesting to do a
man
foray out there.
In Toronto, you're gonna be whoa. I mean, LA's kind of crazy, but you'd be shocked to see what Toronto
Yeah,
is.
yeah, I believe it, man. I believe it.
Ain't nobody speaking English no more.
Damn. I remember going to Square One just not even that long ago. Last Christmas, I think. And I'm like, this is a different country. This is in just a few years.
I walk around the streets and I'm just like listening to people talk, and it's like a breath of fresh air when I hear someone speak English.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like I see all these recent immigrants with like 2 kids, and I'm like, just like, wow, we're literally just being invaded right now.
People really don't know how the bottom has fallen out over in Canada, and just the amount of people they've let in.
Yeah.
It's great.
With like absolutely no like assimilation. Not even. It's like anti-assimilation.
Truly.
Like, you have to be like Toronto is like a colonialist. You have to say the land acknowledgement or something. I don't know. Like you have to swear allegiance to the native people or something. Who knows?
Yeah,
but
man.
They're not teaching you to like love Canada. They're teaching you to just love diversity.
Yo, you know what you reminded me of? You reminded me of when I actually was not even a Canadian citizen yet when I came to work for Jessie. And sometime during my years here at Bond, I actually got the call from Canada saying, appreciate all the patience and the stuff and the whatever. It's time for you to do your citizenship test. And I'm like, rock on, let's go. And I actually take a flight back. I studied for my citizenship test. I'm all like, let's do it. You know, Canada was so kind to me. It's a pleasure to finish this up and whatever. It's just something that was in the works. I just thought, let's just finish it up. I'm sitting there for my test, and this Chinese guy right in front of me has a translator. And this translator sitting beside him, translating everything that the person's saying, everything that's on the test. And I'm like, whoa, where's the standard?
Ridiculous.
There's like, what if this person's
you really don't have to speak
cheating?
English.
Yeah, what if they're cheating in Chinese?
No standard. There's literally no standard. It's like,
it was crazy.
Bring some translator in there.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, yeah, Canada's done. There's like really no coming back.
Dang.
You know, there's absolutely no coming back from this. And I feel like it's the same thing in the States. Like, how is it different in the States?
No, it really isn't, man. It's just so apparent, I think, because the population's so much smaller in Canada. You just the hit is way bigger, but it's really the same here, man.
We don't have guns. I think that's a big difference. Is we don't have the threat of like we can't actually like defend ourselves.
Right, so you can't. I guess you can't piss off the Americans too much. You can't, right? You can't boil the frog too fast in America because the frogs have guns.
Yeah, we can't piss off anyone. I mean, look at the UK. I mean, like what's happening there is like basically what's going to happen. If Kamala wins, if Justin Trudeau wins again, like it's going to be like insane censorship. You're going to jail for a meme, you know?
Right, like the UK. People don't know. People don't know what's coming, man. Man, Trudeau, he's been like in power like over a decade now,
years.
no? True. Oh yeah, 8 years.
9 years.
9 years. Okay, so I forget. Are there even terms for Canadian prime ministers?
There's not term limits.
There's no term limits, right? Because Harper,
yeah.
Harper was in like 15 years or something like that, right? Stephen Harper.
Remember.
He was the conservative before, who was prime minister before Justin Trudeau.
I don't think he was in for 15 years. That's
It was
crazy.
something like a long
I wish
time.
he was still in. We'd be in a better place right now. He was like at least a little bit conservative.
Yeah, I may be wrong about the 15 years,
Oh,
actually.
no, it wasn't 15 years. 2006 to 2015.
Ah, so close to 10.
Yeah.
All right.
So, yeah, I mean,
Shout out Canada.
Here's my prediction. So you see how in UK the leftist won. You see how in France the leftist won. I think the leftists are going to win all over the world. Honestly.
Yeah, you think it's their...
I'm just preparing myself for that, because then if Trump wins, I'm like, yeah. But then if not, then I'm going to be like, okay, I prepared myself for this.
Right. And what do you think as a... I mean, I'll say this. I don't think it's an insignificant chance that Kamala has in her campaign. I don't think it's an insignificant chance that they have. I think it's significant.
When you factor in the,
shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
We love shenanigans.
Shenanigans. The alleged shenanigans.
Yeah.
Then, I think that's
big
gonna
time,
happen,
man.
So, yeah.
But also the fact that they're fighting a campaign so hard, though, it goes to show that it's all a little bit more complicated than just there's only a group of people who control elections. I think it's a combination of things. You need the shenanigans will give you a boost, but you still need a massive amount of votes. So if Trump supporters came out in force, they could feasibly drown out any shenanigans. It goes to show it's a little bit more complicated than people make out.
But it's just like, the thing that you really have to factor in is that they control the narrative. Because they control the media, like they can just pull shenanigans and then just pull the wool over everyone's eyes, and then it's just like, there were no shenanigans, everything's good, and then it's just like, you can't deny this, you're going to jail for that meme.
You know, that's an important point, because if you watch like the Democrats with just open eyes, like you watch the DNC, for example, you can conclude that because you could see, wow, they have to be leaning into what you're talking about. Ego, controlling the narrative, fooling people, and shenanigans. You would know that they're leaning into that by just watching them, because it's like, you're not even saying anything. You're not saying any policies. You're saying nothing. Yeah. You're just copying the Republicans, and then just fingers crossed. We'll just use all these tools.
They do not have their fingers crossed. They got their fingers on the butt.
Yeah, right. Their elbow on the scale. Yeah, their finger on the scale.
Exactly. That's why they know that. Oh, she doesn't have to do any interviews. She doesn't have to even say any real policies that she's gonna do. We got this in the bag.
Crazy.
We switch candidates. There's no way we can lose now.
Yeah, I think it's quite a competitive election. I still think there's quite amazing markers.
Go out and vote for sure.
Yeah,
vote,
it's competitive.
Prepare yourself for the worst. Honestly,
the left is staying. But wait, what about South America?
Leftist world takeover. Well, yeah, maybe
we got Milei. Don't we have Milei a little bit? A little bit of Milei.
What happened to Brazil?
Yeah, Brazil. Yeah.
He got forced out too in a very shenanigan-y election.
Yep. Yeah.
So they're gonna do it all over. They got the globalists globalizing, man. They're globalizing. They be globalizing.
It's not as scary when you put it like that.
Yeah. Yo, I'm loving the gaming, man.
You like the plantation streams?
Yeah, the plantation.
Nice,
You're influencing me to start gaming again, man. I have to buy that game.
I might have to start up some World War III streams too, though. To counteract the gaming streams, and by that I mean boot camp streams where I don't know. I guess I'm just doing push-ups or something. And
yo, definitely do some World.
What do you think about that? Should we do some boot camp streams?
Do some prep streams.
We can't just be flimsy people. We can't just be flimsy people. If we're gonna be here memeing about World War III, we should at least be prepared. I think we should.
Every meme you got to do 20 push-ups.
Yeah. I think we got to do some boot camp streams. That'd be kind of funny. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, that'd be dope. I'll tune in for that for sure.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your call, man. Anything else you want to say?
No, man, I'm good. Just God bless you. God bless everyone in the mighty name of Jesus Christ.
Thank you, sir. Call me again, man.
All right, brother. Have a good one. Peace.
888-775-3773. Wait, hold on. We need some boot camp tunes. I think this... Yeah. I think I found it. This is going to be our boot camp. Anybody recognize this? Yeah, Donkey Kong Country, Donkey Kong 64. Who has the Donkey Kong 64 original soundtrack bookmarked? It's solid stuff, okay? Rare makes amazing stuff, or at least they did back in the day. Donkey Kong 64, come on. You know, you couldn't even play Donkey Kong 64 without the Rumble Pack. Remember the little red thing? And if you went to Blockbuster, if your mom went to Blockbuster Video and she brought you back Donkey Kong 64 without the red expansion thing, that it was day ruined. Mom, the guy at the counter didn't give you the red Rumble Pack. You need the Rumble Pack to play the 64 version of the Donkey Kong game, Mom. You just ruined Friday. Sorry, it's just Blockbuster Video. I think that's going to be our World War III boot camp theme. We're gonna work this out, okay? I shouldn't speak too much about what I got planned because then I won't do it. But I'm telling you, fresh new studio type deal. We'll see. All right, time to do push-ups. Isn't that funny? We start off our morning like this. Hey, well, we got things in the works. White supremacy, though. And more conspiracies. Remember, they say, there's no such thing as racism against whites. You bunch of conspiracy theorists, you think they're trying to replace people out. I need to show you how do I kick this off. Speaking of conspiracies, let me show you this little video. Pardon. I think to report on this, it requires a little video to set it off. And this is news too, although I can't quite confirm exactly when this happened. And an image search on Google reveals that this video I'm about to play seems to be pretty fresh on the internet. I can't seem to find any posts of this. You know, I asked Google to, I fed it a couple frames of the video to see if I could find any instances of this video posted months ago, years ago. And really, the posts are all very recent, from just mere days ago. Although I can't seem to find any news article reporting on it, this video is going around on X.com, and it seems to be a new one, and it's coming down from NASA, at least some part of NASA. Speaking of conspiracy theorists, let's watch.
And in doing this work of examining my own intentions and my own actions and their impact, I can see that there's so much more that I could have done to make the projects I've led equally welcoming to Black, Indigenous, and people of color as the white people they have engaged. I feel a lot of shame and regret about that. And I know that without looking head on at what I've done and not done, I won't be able to do better. So I'm looking forward to today's event and to this whole series as steps in my personal and professional journey to make my work more anti-racist and therefore more effective in reaching my aspiration.
And this may be a review for many of you, but these are those different characteristics that you probably see coming up a lot in our workspaces, especially in the practice of science. Perfectionism, a sense of urgency. I'm sure all of us are feeling a sense of urgency about some of the deadlines that we maybe have right now. The idea of power hoarding, the idea of individualism over collectivism, quantity over quality, either or thinking. And so all of these things can really limit the way we go about doing our work, and they can really limit the way we are able to connect with communities that come from.
I wonder what limits your work more. Believing in progress is bigger, believing in any of these common sense things, or what this person's talking about.
Different cultural backgrounds that don't value these things the same way that white supremacy culture.
Oh, they're just different cultures. That's why they don't agree. Oh, my bad. I didn't realize different cultures value different things. Oh, well okay, so that's what's different with them. Oh, so that's what's wrong with them. That's what's wrong with them. They value different things. They just simply don't value. They simply just don't value progress. They simply don't value either or thinking. They simply don't value objectivity. Imagine that. Look, that's on the list here. Objectivity. They simply just don't value being objective and objective truth, stats. Remember, you've seen this before. Other companies attempting to educate their employees on white supremacy culture. If they've said this before on other, if you've seen those, other companies have done similar things. And when it comes to, they've described other aspects of white supremacy culture, and they'll say things like punctuality, facts, statistics, data. Oh, my bad. Oh, they just simply don't value such things. Okay, so that's what's wrong with them. And so I needed to show you that, to show you just how crazy you can be, how far hell can go, how detached from logic and reality itself you can be. Just needed to show you that before we continue here, just how far you can go, just how demoralized, degenerated you can become, how twisted the human mind and your morality, so-called morality, can get. I needed to show you that, because on display is literally an insane person talking about the guilt this person has. What did you do? What did you do? Yes, we are still allowed to use, how do I put it? Simple, almost childlike, how do I put it? Very simple, almost schoolyard, playground rules, conclusions of the world can still be quite useful. Like, for example, what did you do? Oh, this person's crying. They're saying you did something. Oh, what did you do? Oh, you didn't do anything? Oh, well, then you didn't do anything to this person, and you are not guilty for this person crying. You know what I mean? Oh, your ancestors did something. Well, now that's getting crazy. Yeah, we could still kind of think simply like that. So besides that insane person, what am I supposed to assume is a white person? A white person with a bunch of self-guilt. So much guilt. Is this why those people are stuck up there, by the way? Those astronauts stuck up in the International Space Station, for those who don't deny space? Could this be maybe part of the reason why? No, I'm just messing around. Because it was Boeing, right? Boeing was the one who was doing all that. But this is the world's insanity on display. And it's important to show you this part first, because to explain the following video and the following and the border, the southern border, the millions of people let in, and how Republicans and Democrats and literally everyone seem to just be okay with this insane sight of all these people who don't deserve to be here, how California can give $150,000 to illegals for first-time home buyers, how you can have these other programs who are thinking of giving taxpayer money to the same people. How do you explain this? How can you explain this? Well, to explain this requires more than even knowing who is running these things, because there's a whole bunch of people pointing this out. They're pointing out and naming who's running things. And maybe, who's in the government and who's running things and what mentalities are behind and all that. But that is not a full explanation. Because what do you do with that information? How does that explain? How does that really explain? Alejandro Mayorkas and all these people, these are who's running things, and Biden and these people are saying they're okay with open borders, or at least alluding to it. And it's these people, it's their fault. Who voted for them? This is not a full explanation, and you got to understand how insane the human mind and the human, how twisted the human mind and the heart can get for you to explain how a people can be so willing to take on the blame for something they didn't do, and to be affected by the cries of a corrupt people who just want. Of a corrupt people who just want and will not do for themselves. They refuse. Just want to blame. How can you explain someone so willing to sacrifice themselves and their children and their future children and all that, and be okay with the decline of their world? So let me show you this. What some people are calling Islamophobic, some people Muslims marching in Utah. Isn't Utah like Tell me, chat. Tell me. Isn't Utah like the Mormon area? Aren't they supposed to be like kind of protected against all this? Tell me if my impression is wrong here while we watch this little news clip on what some people are calling Islamophobia pertaining these Muslims in Utah.
Of the Muslim community are speaking out on a social media post by a Utah state lawmaker. That video posted by Davis County Representative Trevor Lee has many accusing Lee of making a vague post that incited hateful comments. His specialist Lindsay Ertz now with the details.
Yeah, the Utah Muslim Civic League says this was a group of Shia Muslims, mostly women and children, who were making a sacred pilgrimage to honor the martyrdom of one of their fallen heroes. Well, this post from State Representative Trevor Lee, it's unclear the intent of it, but he declined to explain why he made it. This is the video posted by Layton Representative Trevor Lee yesterday with the caption, quote, "In the small town of Taylorsville, Utah."
The flags that they were carrying were marking the martyrdom of Imam Hussein in Karbala.
In the comments, Lee adding, quote, "Not a single American flag in sight."
So I inferred from it that maybe what we were doing was un-American.
But Avesa Hamed with the Utah Muslim Civic League says the walk wasn't political at all. It's a religious pilgrimage that millions of Shia Muslims make every year called Abharin. It marks the 40th day after the martyrdom of the grandson of the Prophet Muhammad, known as Hussein, who Shia Muslims believe sacrificed his life fighting for justice.
It's a very sacred date for Muslims and our Shia community in particular.
Ahmed says he doesn't know the true intent of Lee's post.
Well, it felt Islamophobic, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and that he was ignorant of what was going on.
Still, he said, the post had an impact.
I have talked to some members of our Shia community who felt very hurt and misunderstood by that post.
Now, we asked Lee to respond to those concerns. He declined an on-camera interview. I asked him via text message why he made the post, what was his purpose in pointing out the group, and to respond to their concerns he was being Islamophobic. Lee responded, quote, "Those are stupid questions." He did provide this statement saying, "I don't want to answer the biased media questions, trying to bait a nothing burger story that everyone on both sides are assuming what they each want it to be." For Ahmed, he hopes this creates a chance for all to unite.
I think it's an invitation for us to, as a community, both Muslim and non-Muslim, to get together and educate each other about one another.
Now, this post has thousands of comments on it, some saying they didn't see the post as an issue, but others are calling for other state lawmakers, even leadership, to condemn it. Reporting at the mosque in Taylorsville, for KSL 5 News, I'm Lindsay Ertz. Back to you.
Amazed. So, like, if you're following this Utah representative, Trevor Lee, made this post on X, just posting this video, posting the video, and, oops.
Of the Muslim community are
oopsies, just posting the video and simply writing "in the town," in our town, and so people are like, "What do you mean by that?" He just posted the video and said, "Look at what's happening in our town," and and you know what's so funny about that? It's evident. It's clearly evident that there's something strange about it, and here's why everyone agrees: because they're calling it racist. Despite him not saying a single thing, just saying, "Look at what's happening in Utah. Look at what's happening in this area of Utah." What are you, racist? Huh? What? Maybe your knee-jerk reaction to calling it possibly racist is because because you already just know what they're getting at, because it's evidently weird that you got a bunch of Muslims in Utah. Like, you know what I mean, guys? Like. And this incredulous attitude, which I don't really blame the Muslims too much for. They've been brainwashed too, in a sense. But can we have a little bit of just kind of self-reflection here? What would you do if that was happening over in your Muslim countries? Like, if the opposite was happening, it would be strange. It would be out of place. And so, but I guess what I'm trying to get at is this attitude of pointing at the, pointing at the rules, in a sense. It's like you got something that's evidently strange and different, But then because racism is bad and the world says racism is bad, you can do something that's strange and evident, that is evidently strange and out of place, but should someone point it out, you could just point at the rules. Oh, that's not the rules. Look, the rules say otherwise. But internally, you know, some part of you must know that, well, yeah, this is new and different. You might think you just got to accept it. You just got to accept it. Your time is done. Your time is done and it's changing. You might say that, but you have to admit that to say that, you got to be somewhat militant and somewhat, if not fully, uncaring of the people pointing out this strange thing. In fact, you call them racist. You assume racism. If there's anything un-American, it's that. If there's anything un-American, it's that. And so right on, Trevor Lee, I don't know too much about him. I like that he called it a stupid question. Yeah, don't answer stupid questions, okay? And they're only calling it racist because it's evidently weird when nobody said anything. And you know what I would say? I used to say this about the Romans. I used to make this point about how they forgot to build their aqueducts. You know, you've heard it before that the Romans forgot to build their aqueducts, this technology that would carry water around their society. Very amazing stuff, allowed them to have a huge empire, very important piece of technology that they forgot to maintain and build. And then, but I would make this, I made this point recently that the Romans, they forgot to build their aqueducts before all the immigrants came in, which was part of their decline and part of their end, where all these disjointed and fragmented groups living in Rome that would not assimilate, exacerbating the issues to its eventual collapse. I would say but the Romans, they forgot how to build the aqueducts first. And then the immigrants came, and so, you know, my point there saying that what's wrong with the Romans? What happened with the Romans that happened? The point still stands, but can I clarify a couple things here after, you know, actually cracking open the books and researching? That's not exactly true. In fact, even saying that they forgot to build the aqueducts is not exactly accurate. What I was trying to, and I knew this part back then. When I'm saying they forgot how to build the aqueducts, I'm just simply saying they simply didn't have the infrastructure to do it anymore. And then the people, yeah, they started getting older, and when you don't have the infrastructure or the need and the will to do something like so grand, you got to understand what I'm saying here. Roman society had to be at a certain level first before the aqueducts could be built. And it required a combination of infrastructure, supply lines, skill, and all these things working in tandem to be the foundation where such grand technology could be built on. Once Roman society dipped below this level, it's not that all of a sudden people just forgot how to make the aqueducts. It's just they can't. It's kind of like the Apollo and all this technology that was that America had to go to the moon. Once the motivation, the will, and even the infrastructure and skill itself wasn't up to par, you can technically say we forgot how to go to the moon. That being said, another clarification on this thing on the Romans. It turns out, actually, the immigrants, they came at the same time, if not first. It's an interesting thing, and maybe we can, if you guys find it interesting, we can get into the deets how I know this, but I went into the research. Turns out, actually, the Romans forgot how to build the aqueducts pretty much at the same time, if not after the immigrants came in. It's actually more accurate to say that it's all kind of connected. It's all actually connected. So when they say, oh, this is not political. We just marching here. It's just not a political thing. Stop trying to connect all these things. It's all connected, actually. It's all connected. And the Romans and the influx of all these immigrants and their decline of their society was all in tandem. It's all connected. Just wanted to kind of make that point. It's all connected there. And what else about this? Look, you're not allowed to not like what's happening. That's a crazy part about it too. To see your country change is not something you just have to accept as a merely positive thing. Even if you can't quite prove it. Even if you can't quite prove it, you don't have to just accept that as a positive thing. Your world is changing and ridiculous people tell you, too bad, and laugh in your face. They say your time is over. Meanwhile, they smile while trash is coming in. Trashy society. Even if you can't prove it, you should be allowed to not like what's happening, but they'll call you racist. They'll call you all these things. It's incredible. What else about this? Real quick. Let's close this up. Wrap this segment up. What else? What else do I have to say about this? Roman aqueducts. What else? It's all connected, man. Hey, wow, Hassan, what's up, sir? Nice to see you in the chat, man. Always a pleasure, Hassan. Hope everything's going well. My life is I was telling Hassan the other day, my life is like a whirlwind, and in that whirlwind, I'm thinking about ya, Hassan, but I don't know. I don't call. I don't do that. Wish you well, sir. Anyways, I'll tell you a person. Replacement, where was I? Oh, yeah, let's get to this. Let's do this real quick because talking about the immigrants here, talking about what I'm talking about. There's this story going around about the first-time home buyers in California. Kind of interesting when you look at the details here. So you may have heard of this. They're saying they're giving $150,000 loans for illegals in California to buy homes. And if you watch the Fox reporting on it, it's like they're literally giving $150,000 before American citizens. What is this? This is crazy. And it's not too far from the truth. But, you look at the details, it's not exactly that. It's not exactly that. In fact, when you look at the details, it's worse. Let me get into this. The thing is, when you look at the details, it's not exactly that clear and blatant. It's not actually like what the Fox reporting. It's more accurately to say it's actually a small lottery for all California citizens. It's like a small lottery. And I say small, like I'm saying small, like as if let's be real. It's somewhat, I forget the number of, it's basically a lottery and there's a limited number of winners. But any Californian citizen can apply. The controversy is they basically said that your citizenship status should not affect who gets to be one of these lottery winners, which is already insane. Because what if it's an illegal? You're basically saying you are therefore saying you are okay with open borders, because if you're not even going to vet these lottery people, then you're totally okay with them setting up shops, setting up homes, making a life, having babies. So you don't want them to leave. You don't care about the law. You don't care about that at all. You're totally fine with open borders. Super radical. The accuracy I'm adding to the reporting here is simply this, that it's not just once we sign this bill, we're going to be giving $150,000 to illegals before American citizens. No, it's actually a lottery for citizens that got opened up to the illegals. So that's controversial enough, but the details on the website, I got to say, is actually, when you read with open eyes, I'd say it's worse. It's worse than what Fox is saying, okay? And let me open this up. HFA, California Housing Finance Agency, reporting on this own first-time home buyer. It's called the California Dream for All. Okay, California Dream for All Shared Appreciation Loan Program. Okay, and essentially, it's a lottery to get this $150,000 loan with no interest and really, really help you with your down payments and get a home. You have to be a first-time home buyer. Okay, let me open this up. The Dream for All Shared Appreciation Loan is a down payment assistance program for first-time home buyers to be used in conjunction with the Dream for All conventional first mortgage for down payment and or closing costs. Upon sale or transfer of the home buyer repays the original down payment loan plus a share of the appreciation in the value of the home. Okay, the program highlights offers up to 20% for down payment or closing costs, not to exceed $150,000. Home buyer must register for a voucher. A randomized drawing will select registrants who will receive the voucher. This will not be first come, first serve. So it's just randomized. I wonder, can we get some info on the RNG behind this random generation? I'd like to know. But okay, it's random. It's a lottery. And if you're a first-time home buyer, you can totally do it. But wait. Hold on. Turns out there's a caveat. There's eligibility requirements for this California Dream for All Shared Appreciation Loan. And here's what's interesting about this. This new proposal to basically let the illegals be part of this is new, but this eligibility requirement that I'm reading about being how the borrower must be a first-generation home buyer is not new. This requirement has been part of this program since the beginning. And let me explain this specific requirement. Besides having to be a first-time home buyer, you also have to be a first-generation home buyer. Now, what does that mean? What is a first-generation home buyer? Besides being a first-time home buyer, you have to be a first-generation home buyer. And this is what it is. A first-generation home buyer is defined as a home buyer who has not been on a title, held in ownership interest, or have been named on a mortgage to a home in the United States in the last 7 years, and, to the best of the home buyer's knowledge, whose parents, biological or adoptive, do not have any present ownership interest in a home in the United States. Now, who's that? Now, tell me, who is in California? Tell me, folks, who is that most likely? Without having to use racial language, without having to use any racial language at all, who is the most eligible first-generation home buyer? White people or these Hispanics, illegals, immigrants, brand new Democratic voters, brand new residents of California? Let's be real. If you're white, your parents probably had a home, right? Or am I crazy here? Tell me where I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But you don't need any racialized language. You don't need any of that. As long as if you're a first-generation home buyer. Look, my point with this is yeah, they're letting the illegals get this lottery. Sure, that's pretty bad enough. But that's just the latest kind of most raw wound of this whole thing. It goes way deeper. It goes way deeper, and it's way nastier than you think. And this is what I mean. The person running this whole program, Joaquin, who is this? Not Joaquin Phoenix. California Dream for All Shared Program. The person running this thing is this like radical Hispanic dude. Joaquin, what's his name? And the point I'm trying to make with this is that this letting the illegals come into this is just the latest. The truth is that people who are running these governments, and this kind of coincides with the point earlier too, with the employees and the voters are actually way more evil than the CEOs usually. The people, it's not even the people elected, but their employees and the voters. These people have anger, first of all, and they're directing this anger and blaming white people, and they hate America. They hate white America. They hate white supremacy, so-called culture. They hate it. And these are the people running the government. And they are more than happy to have a first-generation homebuyer thing that would skew heavily to the illegal Mexican population and leave out the whites. They'd be happy for that, even if it's not in writing. You follow me here, folks? They would be happy to do that because these Joaquins and others are running things, and they hate America and they hate white people. That's what's going on. That's what's up. And so way before this $150,000 loan for the illegals, they've been doing this lottery for anyone who's not a first-generation home buyer. Am I crazy? What do you think? Am I crazy? Am I making this up? The people running it. So what else am I thinking about here? That's a little bit of the deets on this $150,000 thing for the illegals. It matters because it matters who is running these things. And, right now, some groups hate America. You can confidently say that some groups pretty much hate America by and large. You can confidently say that. That's crazy. What else? What else? Yeah. That's it on that. 888-775-3773. What else? I mean, that's just some of the stuff on my mind. Had to give one to the conspiracy theorists today. You know what I mean? Don't let that go to your heads. Okay, calm down. But we had to show it. We had to give it up to them because it's just glaring markers and vindications back to back. I hope this. Part of me hopes that because of that there really are people kind of seeing things, and maybe they're not as based as you are at home, but they're going MAGA a little bit, and they're saying, you know what, maybe we do have to make America a little bit better, and we got to think about business and real things, and I think that's happening to some degree. To me, the markers are Musk, Zuckerberg, RFK. Just some of the things on my mind. Speaking of RFK Jr., the mouth on his wife. And by mouth, I don't even mean she's being vulgar. She just decided to have an opinion. How dare you? No, but look, RFK Jr.'s wife. What I didn't even plan on talking about this, but speaking of RFK, Cheryl Hines, a little bit on RFK Jr.'s wife, not too important, I guess, since he's dropping out of the race in a sense, supporting Trump. Okay, so he's not going to be president. But I think this is still an interesting thing. Just putting American relationships on display and the order in the home, how it should be, and how you think your little wife loves you, huh? You think your little wife just loves you, huh? That's my wife. She loves me. Well, if your wife were to ever, kind of basically do what Cheryl Hines did, she does not love you, does not respect you, does not love you, not even a little bit. And not only that, she never loved or respected you. She never did. Sorry to tell you. If your wife ever did what Cheryl Hines did, yeah, she not only does not respect you, she hates you. Cheryl Hines, who doesn't even, she's not, Cheryl Kennedy, you mean? Who are you, lady? Some actress. Some Hollywood actress, at least back in the day. Cheryl Hines, not named for some reason, Cheryl Kennedy, married to RFK Jr., Robert F. Kennedy Jr. As you know by now, RFK, in a very interesting turn of events, has supported Trump in an amazing, alongside Tulsi Gabbard too, right? These Democrats who went over and said, "Hey, it's getting crazy. We may not even agree with all of with Trump all the way, but we got to go with common sense here. We got to go with just common sense here, and they're supporting Trump. And they had a big old entrance to the Foo Fighters. There goes my hero. Watch him as okay. They did it with what they did with the Foo Fighters song. Sorry, Foo Fighters. Are you gonna get mad at me? I sang your song. I don't know if you heard these liberals making a big stink about Trump using that song. We're gonna take all the money we made from royalties and we're gonna donate it to Kamala Harris. So Foo Fighters is doxing their sexual orientation. Whoa, calm down. That's a joke. That was a joke. Okay, that was just a joke. But they are donating their money to Kamala Harris. Where was I though? RFK supports Trump. Cheryl Hines, his wife, his own dear wife, with some public comments. I mean, maybe some private comments. I wouldn't say so much. Some public comments about her husband. Cheryl Hines said her husband, Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s presidential campaign. Wait, so hold on. Hold on. Cheryl Hines about RFK supporting Trump. Where was it? Where did I put it? Anyways, let me check somewhere else. RFK Jr. says wife Cheryl Hines does not support Trump, tells bullies to lay off. RFK on Tuesday said people need to lay off his wife Cheryl Hines over his recent endorsement of Donald Trump, even as he revealed she was the one who urged him to meet with the GOP candidate in the first place. He's trying to soften it a little bit here because people are coming out saying, "Hey, why aren't you criticizing your husband?" Or others are saying, "Why did you criticize him?" Hines most decidedly does not support Trump, reports Yahoo. RFK Jr. told TMZ Live, though he admitted it was Hines who advised him to answer. Let's see if here we can find out where Hines was criticizing. Because I had an article with that, and I'm now reading a different one because I can't find it in that one, where we can, get into Cheryl Hines' criticisms. Because it's clear that she doesn't like Trump. Here, it's a really difficult issue for Cheryl, RFK Jr. told TMZ. Again, this is still after her public comments. It's the opposite of what she would want me to do. She went along with it because she loves me and she wanted to be supportive of me, but it was not something that she ever encouraged. Right on, RFK Jr. You're the head of the home, the head of your wife. And so even if she doesn't like it, she better, quietly, if she had any love for her husband, quietly go along. When prompted, he had plenty to say about a viral tweet from West Wing actor Bradley Whitford blasting his wife, saying, "Hey, Cheryl Hines, way to stay silent while your lunatic husband throws his support behind the adjudicated rapist." This is a supposed man, a male, obviously, just wearing the body of a man, actually calling Trump an adjudicated rapist. Do we need to hash that again, folks? Anybody who calls Trump a rapist over this E. Jean Carroll case is a person who does not, you can ignore that person. You can literally in the middle of a conversation go, "Oh, this is a crazy person. I can walk away." Adjudicated rapist who brags about stripping women of their fundamental rights. Yeah, they have way too many rights, man. That's gone too far. Great example for the kids. Okay. Cheryl Hines. Let's see if I can find it. Look. It's just a funny thing. Your own wife, I don't know. I don't like what he's doing. It looks bad. It's just, why is your voice so important? RFK's running for president, doing all this stuff. It's just not necessary. You know what I mean? It's just not necessary. What else? Cheryl Hines Let me see. RFK Jr. makes clear that Cheryl Hines is not MAGA. Anyways, what a mess. Anyways, let's move on. Ain't nothing like family. His own sister turning on him. It's an interesting thing to see happen. His own family turning on him like that. Going public saying, I don't know why you're supporting Trump. Your own wife, your own sister. Yeah, I forget what she said, but she went on. She did the circuit too. No, she went around. She went around doing the news circuit too, criticizing her own brother. You know, like you're just not allowed to do that. Let's talk about the facts, huh? RFK sister, Cheryl Hines, like, it's one thing to just not like it, but why? But why, though? Can we get down to the why? Can we get to the WH5 of the situation? Let's see what else here. That's it from that. Cheryl Hines, I just wanted to mention that. What was I going to do next here? In the last few minutes of the show, I was going to show you two things. Kamala Harris flip-flopping on the border wall. And just a funny thing about companies. Have you seen this meme about factories? The triangle factory memes? You seen some of this stuff? Anyways, real quick though, appreciate everybody watching and supporting. Let me check the super chats real quick. Like and subscribe. It helps the channel. Going to be putting out more videos. You like those? I see people in the comments already trying to tickle the algorithm. I do appreciate it. It helps a lot. If you like the stream, if you comment away in the live chat, even in the comments under the video after the fact, it's very helpful. So I see you guys. I see you guys doing it, and I do appreciate it. Clicking away, liking, subscribing, doing your thing. You can follow me on rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. dlive.tv/Gorgonzola. And punchy.tv. You want to save it, keep it in your back pocket. Punchy.tv/Anchor Baby. Wait, let me check. Punchy.tv/Anchor Baby. You want to keep that in your back pocket as we develop Punchy.tv further. And what else? Yeah, those are the little homeworks. That's a little bit of the homework there. Just make sure, just making sure we dotted our I's and crossed our T's on all that. Chris with the thumbs up. Thank you for the earlier super chat. And all the support over there on Rumble. It's been popping. Thank you so much. 706145. That's a name I've never seen. Mildred Grew. Nice to always see you there. It's nice to see the Rumble chat populated. Well, maybe it's dead now. 706145. But I appreciate it. Ohio. What's wrong with Ohio? What's up, Ohio Sentinel? Nice. Appreciate y'all being over there on Rumble. So what else? In the last few minutes of the show, what should we do? We got Bible Thumper Thursday tomorrow. We're definitely taking a flight on Friday. I backed up my computer. As you can see, we were able to stream from the lab yesterday. So that's a good sign. Hopefully that's a good sign for Friday. I have another backup. in the works for Friday. So I'm feeling other than the creek rising, there should be no reason we don't take off on Friday and do a full flight. That being said, maybe we should plantation tomorrow. We haven't really been plantationing. I know people like it. We're not doing it on Friday because we're taking off. I'll let y'all know, okay? We might have a nice Saturday thing, but I'll let y'all know, okay? So that's why you want to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell and all that. That way you're up to what we're up to, okay? I'll try and post about it, like make a community post with some info. Let's say a Saturday stream isn't coming. I'll try and community post with some info, okay? That's what we'll do with that. What else here? I guess I'll show you this, since we've been politicking hard. Harris flip-flopping on the border wall. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but cutting through the headline, it's a little bit, to be more accurate here, Kamala Harris has not come out saying, yes, I'm pro-border wall. She's just saying that she is pledging to, drive forth this bipartisan border security bill, the one that Republicans and Trump helped deny. This bill in it puts a lot of money to the wall. And so she's basically saying she's pro-wall with that one. Now, if you remember, this bipartisan security bill was a total sham. It basically allowed America to let in like 5,000 illegals a day, which is like millions a year. So no difference. It's like literally no difference. So don't fall for that, smoke and mirrors. Funny that she's pro-wall. Real quick video from ABC. You might find this interesting on this and what they notice themselves.
But if you take a look at that ad, one thing that I found striking is if you look, and I think we have the images here, there are at least 3 points in that ad that show the border wall, Donald Trump's border wall. Is it now the position of the Democrats that they favor the border wall?
Oh, it's a much shorter video than I thought. I feel like getting up and finding out what happened. I feel like going out to the office and figuring out what happened. Yeah. Is that it? Is that it to the clip? Why'd you take out all of the clip? Huh, Nick?
But if you take a look at that ad, and one thing that I found striking is if you look, and I think we have the images here, there are at least 3 points in that ad that show the border wall, Donald Trump's border wall. Is it now the position of the Democrats that they favor the border wall?
Okay, just want to show you that real quick. All right, folks, that's pretty much it from me. Appreciate the calls, super chats, and otherwise. Hope you enjoyed the show. I will be back tomorrow, same time, and we'll see what happens, okay? We'll see what we get into tomorrow. Bible Thumper Thursday. You don't want to miss it on the Jesse Lee Peterson Show. We love Bible Thumper Thursday. So Bible Thumpers, get your questions ready. And, of course, Joel Friday and James Hake after Joel Friday, as we do. I'll see you guys later. I'll see y'all tomorrow, same time. And we'll get into what we get into, okay? That's it for me, y'all. Take care. Once again, see you tomorrow. Much appreciated as always. Peace.